I think one of the worst things about social media now is that it makes everyone else feel behind. Let's say, for example, you open your phone for 5 minutes and suddenly it feels like everyone your age is doing better than you. Like someone's traveling, someone's making money, someone's in better shape, someone's got their whole life sorted out at 21 somehow. And after a while, even if you don't realize it, it starts getting in your head because you start comparing your normal everyday life to everyone else's highlight reel. And I think that's the part people forget. Most people only post the outcome. They don't post the months of nothing happening, the stress, the failed attempts, the overthinking, the nights where they've thought about quitting. You just see the final result, like a car, money, followers, a relationship, a physique. And it just gets posted on social media like it's happening naturally. But what you don't want to see is someone spending months, sometimes years, grinding in the background before they even posted it. You don't see the 2 views, the failed businesses, the people laughing at them, the amount of times they probably thought, what am I even doing? Because none of that gets posted. And honestly, social media got really good at making life look easy, way too easy. You scroll for 10 minutes and it starts feeling like everyone else became successful overnight. But real life doesn't actually work like that. Most people are struggling quietly. They're just not showing it. And I've noticed this with myself as well. There have been times I've gone on my phone feeling completely fine and come off of it feeling like I'm behind in life somehow, even though nothing actually changed. That's how powerful comparison is. And the weird thing is, even the people you compare yourself to are probably comparing themselves to someone else. It never really ends, because once you start constantly looking at what everyone else is doing, you stop focusing on your own life. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. They spend too much time watching other people build things, but they never actually fully build their own. And social media doesn't help with that at all. Everything's fast now, fast money, fast success, fast results. But nobody really shows the slow part anymore, the repetition, the boring days, doing the same thing over and over and over again with barely any results. That's the bit nobody wants to post, because it's not actually exciting, but that's usually the part that actually matters. And I think if more people saw the behind the scenes properly, they wouldn't feel so behind all the time. Because most people are way closer to each other than social media ever makes it seem. Some people are just better at presenting their own life online. And I'm not even saying social media is fully bad, because it can actually inspire people. It can motivate you. You can learn things through it. But if you spend too much time consuming everybody else's life, eventually you stop living your own properly. And I think that's why a lot of people feel lost now, because they're constantly seeing where everyone else is at without appreciating where they are themselves. And honestly, most people figure it out as they go anyway. They just hide the better part online. So if you've been feeling behind lately, maybe you're not actually behind. Maybe you've been looking at someone else too much. And I think another thing that social media does is it completely messes with your sense of time, because you'll see someone at 19 buying a car, someone at 22 traveling the world, someone making thousands online, and suddenly your brain starts acting like you're running out of time, like you haven't figured your whole life out by your early 20s. You failed somehow, which is honestly ridiculous when you really think about it. Most people are still figuring themselves out at 30, 40, even later. But social media compresses everything and makes success look instant, like everyone just woke up one day and suddenly had their dream life. And because we only see the final result, we start expecting results way too quickly in our own life. You'll try something for a month, maybe 2. And because it hasn't worked yet, you feel like you're failing. Meanwhile, the person you're comparing yourself to might have been grinding at it quietly for 5 years, but you'll never know that from the posts. And I think that's where it gets dangerous. People start feeling behind, not because they're actually behind, but because they're comparing the beginning to someone else's middle. Or even worse, somebody else's best moments. And social media got really good at making ordinary lives look perfect. You'll see a 10-second clip of someone smiling in a nice car, and your brain fills the rest of this story automatically. They must be happy, they must figured life out, they're ahead of me. But you actually have no idea what's happening behind the camera, and I think people forget that. Somebody can look successful online and still feel lost in life. Somebody can post confidence constantly and still be insecure. Somebody can look rich online and be stressed every single day. Because social media isn't real life, it's edited life, it's selected moments. Nobody posts a night where they feel lost. Nobody posts themselves overthinking at 2 a.m. Nobody posts their failed attempts, the awkward stages, the loneliness, the uncertainty. I think constantly seeing polished versions of everybody else's life slowly makes people feel disconnected from their own. Because normal life starts feeling not enough. Working quietly doesn't feel enough. Improving slowly doesn't feel enough. And even relaxing feels guilty. Because online, there's always somebody doing more, somebody earning more, somebody achieving more, somebody moving faster. But realistically, you were never meant to compare yourself to thousands of people every single day. Our brains probably aren't built for that. And I think deep down, a lot of people are exhausted from constantly consuming everybody else's life. Because after a while, you stop listening to yourself. You stop asking what you actually want, and you start chasing what looks good online. Which is why I think taking breaks from social media sometimes is actually important. Because you step away from it for a bit. your brain starts calming down, you stop comparing as much, you stop feeling rushed all the time, and you start realizing most people are nowhere near ahead as they look online. They're just better at presenting it. And I think a lot more people are confused and lost in figuring things out than anyone else wants to admit. They've just learned how to hide it better on the internet.